And I think the starting point for the arches is here, because determining this height will then determine the height of this curve here, because I want this curve to blend in to the top of the valance. Sometimes you see the curves ending a bit higher and the valance starts lower. I wanted mine to just kind of transition down into the front valance without having that top lip exposed. So basically I had to fit this, and again wasn't exactly sure how high to fit this up and down. Again, there's no real guidance, so I basically just I took some measurements over here and over here, made sure it was all straight, and then just took an educated guess by looking at pictures and stuff online of what looks sensible. And I'm quite happy with this position. The curve follows the wing and the front panel quite nicely on both sides. So this seemed to be like the most accurate fit. If I started to go a little bit higher, then it threw this out, and if I started to go too low, then the gap here was too big. So this looks nice. So I wanted this basically to come in line with the top here. And basically that was then going to set the position for the wing, because it can go up or down, left or right. I'm pretty happy with that. And then you just make sure that the end of the wing meets the end of the arch, which I did. And then basically I had to put the front anti-roll bar mount in to make sure that the wheel was centered within the original wheel well, which I've done. And then basically measuring the distance across the wheel. Horizontally is around 72 centimeters, so the middle of the arch should be around 36. 36 drops about here, which is for me pretty much smack bang in the middle of the wheel. So I'm happy with the position left and right. I'm happy with the position up and down. So all I've got to do now is massage the flange around the top so it fits the wing nice and snug. This wing is new, so it's straight, so the arch fits kind of nicely. A little bit of tweaking to be had down here, and here just the flange sticks away by a couple of millimeters, so I'm just going to bend that in. Once the flange is in, I can put a couple of holes in to get the Clico clips in, and then we can start to mark out the cut line on the inner wing, because most of that inner wing is going to have to get cut away, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that as we get there. So here, this bottom line here going round is the top of my arch. I put these lines here as well, just because you know, it could be here, it could be here. It's just to make sure that the curve is in the right place. This curve. So that's my line. Now you notice on top of the arch here we've got maybe 10mm flange. Yeah, 11mm. 10 or 11mm all the way around. So what I want to do is mark another line that's 10 or 11mm lower than this first one, and that will give me the flange area that the pot rivets are going to go through. But then below that line I want another 10mm, so I could bend that out at 90 degrees. If you notice, any panel like this where it's just kind of a sheet will always tend to have a fold in it, especially the guards, because just that fold alone adds so much more rigidity to a panel. It's unbelievable. You know, without this bend here, this panel would be kind of loose or bendy. I mean, it is a little bit bendy, but it's nowhere near what it could be. So I want to incorporate that lip, or that bend, that bends out this time. This one bends in here. I want mine to bend out, and then that's going to go basically underneath the arch. So it'll be something for the arch to sit onto. I'll put some sealant all around there so no water and crap can get in. So the arch will kind of sit on that, but then that will also add a lot of rigidity to the panel, and it will stop the panel kind of warping as I'm putting the rivets through, pulling the panel in all sorts of different shapes. So that's the plan. I'm just going to measure down now, at 10 or 15mm. I can't really use the arch. I can maybe do it in places. basically want to measure 10 mil down or 20 mil down. Do a line at 10, a line at 20. So then basically this lower line, this lower 20 mil, if I can use some of the arch to help me around here, starts to go off a little bit here, but we'll do these lines. So basically this line is now my cut line. This one will be the top of the flange. And then I want now one 10 mil, which will be the bend line. So this is my bend line. Bend. It's my cut line, and then that will be the top of the flange. As for down here, don't really know how far to go down. Good question. Don't really know how far to go down underneath here, because most of this bottom panel, the bottom here, is going to have to come off. I don't really know how much to take off just yet. That's going to have to be a trial and error thing. Yeah. Interesting. Going to want to come all the way down here, but I think just for safety's sake we'll come a little bit closer. So let's get cut in. There goes nothing. So, there's the majority of a new wing gone. It's not original Ford, so I'm not too fussed, but you can see what I'm talking about here with this panel now. A lot of movement in that. So we want to run around there now and bend this flange out. That's it. Got loads of room in there. That makes a little bit more sense now where I'm going to do the cut down there. Looks kind of nice. Have an idea. So the bend line is going to be interesting here, because obviously it curves. You can't really do a bend into a bend, so I have to make a small relief cut there just to be able to bend this out. see how we go. As for the bend, basically I use these set of pliers, and I put like just a tiny little groove in there with the angle grinder. Basically that is 10 mil, so I can come up here, clamp it on the line, and basically the end of the pliers is exactly 10 mil. This is what I used for the rear arches when I was tubbing them. And basically now I'm just going to have to go around here, bending this out extremely slowly. Don't try and put 90 degrees in it straight away, because it won't go. You're going to have to do like 10 degrees and then 20 degrees and then 30 degrees, and then another 40 or something after that, 30 after that, to get that bend line. Should be 10 mil. It starts to diverge there. Again, I might just have to make a small relief cut here in order to bend that out. Definitely going to have to do that. That flange, I can see when I bend it, it's going to be more than 10 mil, but once you have the 90 degree flange, you can just trim it or linish it back best you can. So let's start bending. So that's the first run done. And I've literally just put the tiniest bend in there. Try not to bend the panel at all, because it's very flexible, very susceptible to bending and warping at this stage, so just go really easy. But caution, this cut line here, there's loads of metal on there. My favourite tool, deburring tool. Gets rid of the worst of it. So, second go down. So second time round, probably got about 60 degrees in that. Looking down the panel, still nice, straight. So, third time round. Getting there. Some places it's nearly 90 degrees now. Panel still looks good. You can see there's a lot more strength coming into this now. A couple more goes. There we go. Take one more trip around. We should be in business. Just thinking about it, we don't quite want 90 degrees. Alright, that's pretty much it. The only problem area is down here. You can see that the 90-degree flange is sticking out, but then this tapers down into nothing. So basically we're just going to have to grind that off back there. It's kind of maybe starts about here. That's it. Yeah. Marking off the centres again for the holes. 5 centimetres. That's what I used on the back. I don't know if it's a good number or not, but that's what I'm using. Try not to move your arch too much. Got some work to do because I kind of want this straight, so this bit is kind of like that, which is why I plan to come up here so that joins in seamlessly. Alright, I had the flange and the handle in the way. Start to bend this flange out because I have to rework this whole area. So doesn't make too much. Do it like that. When you're working by yourself, building a car by yourself, you need a lot of clamps. Because I only have 2 hands and I'm only one man. Trying to fit body kits is difficult. So that's it. It's kind of straight. So same drill. I've marked out where the arch should go. And this side is a little bit quicker. You can just measure from the back of the arch to the back of the wing, that distance on the other side, and equal it over here. Same goes for from the swage line down. I've got 3 centimeters on the other side, so I've got 3 centimeters here. What was my problem though was here where the front balance was coming round. I couldn't get it to line up at the top of the arch where I wanted. So it's taken a bit of time just to persuade this front aluminium piece to bend enough. I just spent the last 20 minutes putting the tape up, drawing my nice pictures. Same story, got the flange line, and we've got our bend line, and then we've got our cut line. So this is what I'm going to cut out now. Once I've done the cut line, we're going to start to bend up the flange. As I discovered yesterday, it doesn't quite need to go to 90 degrees, because you can see here that this starts to taper away. This isn't 90 degrees, this angle here. It's more like 70, maybe 60 or 70. So I want to basically replicate this angle in the steel. So first things first, let's do some cutting. Well, that was another enjoyable 40 minutes of my life. Trying to get this the same as on the other side. I think this wasn't on completely center. It looked center based on these marks, but the material I had at the end was a little bit less than I had on the other side. So trying to get it round to follow the wing down to here, 4 centimeters, and then curve in was a bit of a stretch. I had to hammer, work the material, and there's only a tiny little bit of bend around the back here instead of on that side where I had maybe a centimeter that I actually cut off. I don't have any material to cut off here, it's just enough. But I think you'll agree, it looks good. Comes around here, it's nice and tight, joins the flush line here. Got a wing that comes down, folds into the piece quite nicely. Scan around on the rest of the wing. This flange is very good. I've not had to bend this flange at all. It just follows the wing really nicely all the way down. I basically got 11 centimeters from here back, which is what I have on the other side. So last night I just finished off by priming the arches on the inside. I haven't done the outside, as you can see, but the wings I did the inside and the outside. Going to put some seam sealant inside the wings today just to stop any water getting into the kind of recesses and the nooks and crannies inside the wings. I'm also going to put some seam sealant inside this fold I was talking about before to stop any crap getting in there. So drill, countersunk pop rivets, tray pop rivets, tiger seal, some cloth, arch. Here goes nothing. I'm not sure that's enough. Or not. Maybe too much. There we go. I think I'm in. My business. Alrighty. I would have a rivet in. Sure how it'll go. you can see they're pretty flush fitting. Some are more flush than others, like that one is probably one of the worst ones. It's maybe like a millimeter sticking out. But then this one here, and this one, that one is pretty much completely below the surface. On this wing, I've left it pretty much as I left it yesterday when I finished it. I put the pot rivets in. All I've done this morning is linished back the tops of the pot rivets with the angle grinder and the floppy paddle disc, just to get them back, and then I'll show you basically me putting some filler in and just tidying them up to show you how to finish them off. Where are we at? This arch, front arch, I linished off the pot rivets. I give it some high build primer, but there was a lot of scratches in the aluminium, so I had to go over that with a 120 and then a 320 grit, just try to get rid of most of the scratches. And you can see there's still one or two lines in there I need to work on, but that's what the arch looks like when all the pot rivets have been linished back. Bit of filler in there just to hide the holes. That's it.